This episode is brought to you by Amazon Business. We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Welcome to From Dorms to Desks, job hunting tips for those early in their careers. A podcast brought to you by College Recruiter job search site, which believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career, and hosted by Work Defined. Join our AI co-hosts as they dive into tips, tricks, and insights that will help you land your next part-time, seasonal, internship, or entry-level job. Let's get your career started.
All right, so today we're going to deep dive into something that I think is pretty important, especially if you're like early in your career, which is salary transparency.
Yeah.
And, just being confident about getting paid what you're worth.
Yeah, for sure.
And, it can be a real tricky thing to navigate, especially when you're just starting out.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing a lot of changes in the job market and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so we found this great article from College Recruiter, and it's called 11 Biggest Job-Related Issues Facing Students, Grads, and Others Early in Their Careers. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was super interesting.
Yeah.
Because it really highlighted just how much things are changing and like the power dynamics are kind of shifting.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that they talked about in this article is that like the top concern for people just starting out is salary transparency and pay equity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And I think it's a really big deal because it's not just about your starting salary.
Right.
It really can impact like your entire earning trajectory over time.
Totally. Yeah. And so like, it's like a ripple effect.
Huge.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So the article actually mentions some really interesting platforms that I think are kind of changing the game when it comes to salary negotiation. And that's stuff like Glassdoor. Mm-hmm. Have you ever used any of those platforms?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think of them?
I think they're really helpful. I think it can be really useful to be able to kind of see what other people are making in similar roles.
Right.
It gives you some data to like back up your expectations when you go into a salary negotiation.
Right.
So it's not just based on like your gut feeling or something.
Yeah, like you kind of have some hard numbers to like work with.
Exactly. It's like having a little bit of an insider's view,
Right. Yeah, totally. Like you can research salary ranges for like specific positions, locations, even companies.
Right.
So it can be really helpful.
I've heard though too, like they're not always 100% reliable.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So like it's probably good to use multiple resources, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important to not just rely on one platform or one source of information.
Yeah.
So, in addition to like salary aggregators like Glassdoor, there are also industry reports, professional networks, reaching out to people in your field, attending industry events.
That's a good point. Like networking is so important. I feel like a lot of people,
totally,
especially when they're just starting out, they might feel kind of weird, like talking about salary with strangers or people they don't know that well.
I totally get that.
Do you have any advice for people who are like, in that situation?
Yeah, I think, first, like, it's more common than you think. People are generally pretty open to talking about salary, especially if you phrase it in a way that's like, casual and not like super intrusive.
Right.
So, you could say something like, hey, I'm doing some research on salary ranges for, X position. Do you mind sharing any insights based on your experience? Mm-hmm. People are usually pretty happy to help.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, those like real world conversations can give you nuances and stuff that you're not going to find just like on a website.
Absolutely.
I know. Total. So, okay. So let's say you've done your research, you've talked to people.
Yeah.
You know what the salary range is for the type of position you want.
Yeah.
How do you actually approach the negotiation part? Because I know a lot of people, like myself included, find that really intimidating.
Right.
So what are some tips?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Hey there, I'm Tim Boris, host of the Working Well podcast, where business strategy meets human sustainability. If you're an executive, a leader, or change maker ready to ditch burnout, build thriving teams, and drive real results, this is your next must listen. Tune in on the Work Defined Network or at timboris.com/podcast.
So I think the key is preparation and practice.
Okay.
So, before you go into a salary negotiation, rehearse your talking points, focus on the value that you bring,
Right.
the skills and experience that you offer. Don't be afraid to counteroffer, but do so respectfully and with data to support your request.
Right. And you know what I think is really interesting? It's like the article talks about this aspect of like trying to ensure equitable compensation across different industries.
Right.
And like, how do you even begin to compare like a tech job to like a nonprofit position?
Yeah.
That's
a really good question.
And
it's a tough one.
Yeah, totally.
I think it comes down to, understanding your worth beyond just a number.
Right.
So thinking about what skills, experience, qualifications are you bringing to the table? How do those translate across different industries?
Yeah.
Are certain skills in higher demand in certain industries? Yeah. What are the industry norms, growth potential, all of those factors.
Yeah. And I imagine like location cost of living, that kind of stuff factors into.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Researching salary data that's specific to your geographic area is really important.
Right.
You want to make sure that you're being compensated fairly based on where you live.
Okay, so we talked about research, we talked about negotiation, but the landscape is changing even further with like legislation.
Yes.
Mandating salary transparency.
Yeah.
In some places, what does that mean for people who are just starting their careers?
This is where things get really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
So these laws, which are often called like pay transparency laws,
okay,
they essentially require employers to disclose salary ranges up front, sometimes even in job postings.
Oh, wow. So you don't even have to go like digging for that information.
Right, exactly.
That changes things.
Yeah, it really does. It gives you so much more power as
a
job seeker because you can see, right from the outset, is this company's values aligned with mine in terms of pay equity?
Totally. It seems like information is key. Yeah.
And the playing field is becoming a lot more level for people.
Absolutely.
Who are just starting out.
Yeah. And I think, with all this information out there, the challenge becomes how to use it effectively. So, don't be afraid to ask questions, seek guidance from mentors or career counselors.
Right.
And practice those negotiation skills.
Yeah.
And remember, you're worth it.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
I think so. To recap, if you're just embarking on your career journey, remember knowledge is power. Stay informed. Be prepared to advocate for yourself.
Yes.
And never underestimate your value.
Absolutely.
That's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
This has been From Dorms to Desks, job hunting tips for those early in their careers. A podcast brought to you by College Recruiter job search site, which believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career. Each episode, we dive into tips, tricks, and insights that will help you land your next part-time, seasonal, internship, or entry-level job. Subscribe to this podcast for free now, so you don't miss an episode, and visit www.collegerecruiter.com to find your next great job.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock has tips to protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report phishing, and update the software on your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, let LifeLock alert you to suspicious uses of your personal information. LifeLock also fixes identity theft, guaranteed or your money back. Stay smart, safe, and protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/podcasts. Terms apply.
You know the words dominating today's headlines.
Private equity,
generative capital gains tax,
America's
fueled by market volatility. Bets on Fed rate cuts are sweet.
But do you understand how they impact your world and your wallet? In a world that skims the what, understand the why. Because context changes everything. Subscribe at Bloomberg.com.